Hi, this is Dina with Starts with Coffee Adventures, and today is going to be an adventure in my garden. You can kind of see them right there. Let me turn the camera around. What I have here in these boxes are raised garden beds. I'm going to open the boxes and put them together, and then the plan is to come over here and I'm going to take out my plants, although I see one ripe tomato there. I don't think most of these tomatoes are going to turn from green to red. I might pick a few of the green ones to see if I can sun them on my window inside by my kitchen. But along this whole area here, let me pan out a little bit more. I'm going to put those raised garden beds in here. I'm going to keep the mint where it is. I'm going to keep the zinnias and these irises. At some point I might dig out all of these irises, but they're going to stay there for now. I want to winter them there. And I have some weeds to pull. I'm going to need to move that collie. I also have one growing in the grass right here. I need to move that to somewhere else. Oh, there's another. The coleys kind of shoot their seeds out all over, and then they grow randomly, so I've been finding them randomly. I also need to take down my hanging baskets there of flowers, as well as these hanging baskets of flowers, which are kind of done for the season. And my other thought was, and I'm still debating about it, is taking this wire fence down. I'm not sure that I need it, but I'm not sure if I want to take it down. Initially, I just wanted my veggie garden to be, covered up by this fencing here to keep like critters out and things, but the critters just climb up and over the fence, most of them being chipmunks and squirrels, not so much bunny rabbits. And so it doesn't really keep them out. So I'm thinking, why have it? The other reason I had it up was to keep my puppy dog out when she was little. But now she's 2 years old, and I don't think she's going to be bothering my veggie garden as much now that she's older. And the raised flower beds kind of give it like a defined area, and she would be able to walk in and around them. But I don't even know that she'd be interested in doing that, although there is puppy dogs on the other side of this fence here, and she does like to say hi to them, and I think that would be fine. But they'd have plenty of room down there by the flower bed on this side, and that is the plan for today. I'm going to go pick some tomatoes before I actually yank the plants out of the ground. My camera almost fell over there with the wind. Here's the tomatoes I picked. If they even had a little bit of color on them, the green ones, I'm picking those because I'm thinking those might actually turn ripe So I went ahead and took off those vincas that were in the hanging baskets on the fence. And another thing I wanted to talk about real quick is see the dead tomato plant and the dead vine from my cucumbers. I'm actually going to save that and put that into my raised bed, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. I dug out these coleus plants, but they will not survive the winter. I can't put them into a pot and like put them in my garage or anything like that. They will die. So I'm going to bring it inside. I have a pot inside that I can plant these in and keep them in a sunny window for the winter, and then I will bring it back out in the springtime and plant it into one of my bigger planters for then. As part of my fall cleanup, I came down here and cut my irises down to about 2 inches, and then that will eventually die off once the frost gets it, but they will come back next year. They come back every year, and that's what's great about irises. And this one was fairly new, and it divided, which I'm really happy about, and I can't wait for it to bloom. It's going to be its 3rd season coming this spring. I started at this end of the garden. Like I said, I'm going to leave my mint, and you can see it's in a container so it stays contained and doesn't spread all through my garden. That's important when you have mint. I'm going to leave the zinnias, and then these I chopped down just like I did the other irises to about 2 inches. And the thing I want you to notice is, see those tubers right there? You might be tempted to cover them up or do something with them, or think, oh my goodness, I have to, bury those deeper. Not with irises. Tubers like these particular irises, love to sun themselves. They need to be at the top surface of the dirt or the ground, or however you want to say that, and they grow really well. They actually grow sideways. The plants kind of grow up vertically, so it's almost like a 90-degree angle. You can even see it kind of like right there. See how the tuber lays horizontal and the stalks and the leaves grow up vertical? So that is very typical of this plant, so don't be tempted to cover them up. They do not need any extra dirt on them. And that is just a gardening tip for irises. Let me show you my table again. I decided to do an experiment and clip off entire vines of tomatoes. I'm going to try to ripen them inside, and then I got some more bell peppers and the last of my jalapenos, because I did yank those plants out, and they went to the compost. And then over here are zinnias. I cut off some of the spent blooms. Now, for the past couple weeks, as the blooms were dying, I actually knocked the seeds into the ground so that they will grow back next year in that same spot. And these, I'm going to get the seeds from here. I'm going to put them in a container or an envelope, and then I'm going to plant them next year. Yep. So today, my husband is going to be my helper. He's going to cut the boxes open. It's not that I can't do it, but he's really good at doing box opening. He's good with the razor knife. Go ahead. Go ahead. And he's going to help me put the raised garden beds together. I'm not going to show you each box being open, but you guys get the gist. This is what the inside of the box looks like. It's got this paper, which I have another YouTube channel. I actually have another business, a reselling business. And this kind of packing paper I use all the time to send my packages out. So I'm going to be saving that and basically recycling it. That channel is called Left Lane Finds. Here is our instructions, which is basically just a picture showing you how to put it together. And this right here, and notice it says shrews instead of screws right there. I thought that was pretty funny. Let me show you how we're putting these together, because the instructions gave us nothing but a picture. So it turns out that these are Phillips head screws. You get 4 for each side of the corner here, and Then you have this top corner piece that initially we didn't put on at first. We just put this together, and then we realized we had to take this one out, then put that corner piece on, and then put this back in and tighten it all up. So my husband's using some of his power tools, so hopefully the next 3 corners go really fast. Here is the name of the garden bed that I got. It's called Vevor or Vivor. I got it off of the Walmart website, and I know Amazon sells them too. There's all different brands that make these garden beds, and as you can see, mine is not very big, but that's because I have a narrow garden. So if you have a bigger garden, they make bigger ones. They make ones in ovals, they make round ones. There's so many shapes, sizes, and colors. But let me give you another tip for putting these together. As I put this on, because I was able to do this side by myself, it turns out I don't need my husband and I don't need his power tools. He gave me this little stubby, as he called it. It's a Phillips head screwdriver. As you can see, it's really tiny. And then he gave me this, which he called it a spin stop or something. I don't know. It's got like the wrench on this side where I can hold the nut. Let me hold the nut on this side and spin this and use the Phillips head on the other side. Actually, I can use my finger, and then for the final tightening, I just hold this tight against the other side, and I'm able to get them tight. Now, the tip I wanted to give you is we made this one tight, and you know, all 3 of these tight, and then when I went to put this one in, it was out of alignment. So I had to loosen up the bottom 3, make sure this was in alignment, get this one on, and then go back and tighten them all. So the tip is put them on loosely till you get them all lined up and ready to go, and that they're all, you know, ready to be tightened, and then tighten them all up, and then you'll have a perfect corner. This is definitely a learn as you go project.
1, 2, 3, come on!
And there we have it. I have all 3 of my raised garden beds put together. I am going to be putting them over here. As you can see, I cleared out most of the veggie garden. I did leave this plant over here, although it looks dead. It is on its last leg for the season, but that's a perennial. It's a blanket flower, and I expect that to come back next year. And then I also have another perennial in here right there, and so I'm not going to be yanking that either. And I might be trying to save, we'll see, a couple of my bell pepper plants. Oh, and I left one jalapeno pepper, which earlier I said I pulled them all out, but I actually only pulled 2 of the 3. And my project for today is done. I fully weeded and pulled out the old veggie plants. I did leave the pepper plants, which you see there. And here is my raised beds all lined up. And they are smaller than my garden. And my thought process around that is so that I can walk around them. So I think I'm going to be putting some mulch or stepping stones or something like that along the fence line here. I definitely want to put mulch and flowers so that it looks good from my neighbor's point of view and from mine looking that way. And I'm not sure about this side, and I'm definitely going to take out this little fence. I see now I really don't want it. That is going to be another project. I'm going to remove that, and then the plan is to transplant these plants somewhere next spring, and that will give me an additional veggie garden. And it looks like I can fit maybe 1 or 2 more of the raised beds in this area. Depends on how I want to do it. And I am so happy with the way my project turned out. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on my next adventure. Here's a blooper for you. I got this whole corner done, but as you can see, there's missing screws now because I have to undo it because I went to do the last corner and I'm like, where is the last corner? Well, if you look really closely there, they're both together. I put both corners on the one side. Thanks for watching.